recording, so we are ready to go.
Hi everyone, this is Liz Christofferson and Carol Vickers, and we work with Empower Consulting Group. We're here on behalf of Practice Pay Solutions, the sponsor of this live webinar event. Practice Pay Solutions provides online payment services to a variety of businesses, and we encourage you to visit their website, www.practicepay.solutions.com. And what's really exciting about this event today is that we have a very special guest. I'd like to tell you a little bit about him. We'll talk a little bit about housekeeping, and then we'll turn it over to him so that we can get moving forward with this wonderful program. So Adam Sowden has been a six-figure life coach. That's right, I said six-figure life coach for the last 11 years. After a conversation with one of Australia's biggest life coaching trainers, he decided that the industry could use a bit of an overhaul. In the last 2 years, he has helped hundreds of life coaches build successful, full-time, six-figure life coaching businesses. The life coaching industry has more opportunity now than ever before, but coaches must change the way they approach their businesses or they will miss out. Adam helps coaches translate their valuable life-changing skills into a language that the market understands and wants. In other words, how to sell your life coaching business without looking weird. Adam is the creator of the 5 Clients in 30 Days program that helps coaches get more clients, make more of a difference, and make money at the same time. So in a couple of minutes, we're going to turn this over to him. But before we get started, I just want to remind everybody, this is an interactive session. We encourage you, if you have questions or comments, please provide them via the chat box or the question box. We will be monitoring those throughout the program, and we'll be getting Adam's feedback as we go through the program. The other thing I'd like to remind you is that the program is being recorded, and you will be provided a copy via Practice Pay Solutions after the program is over. So Adam, thank you so much for agreeing to join us all the way from the other side of the world, down there in beautiful, are you in Brisbane today?
No, I'm in Lennox Head today, which is just south of a place called Byron Bay. We might have heard of. It's
yes,
right
in Australia.
Yes.
So thank you for joining us. We're very excited to have you. Please share with us your brilliance.
Well, thank you very much, ladies, and thanks, guys, for attending. I'm really grateful to have this opportunity because the Practice Pay Solutions is something that an organisation that we use, and I think is a very, it's an awesome resource for coaches because it just saves you so much hassle out of your business. But I'm going to make sure that we get the most out of the time that we've got together. So we'll just get cracking straight into this here.
Great, thank you.
So today we are going to go on a bit of a journey. Now, if you're here, chances are you're a life coach, or you're in the professional services industry, and chances are you want more clients. So the reason why we put this together is, well, I'll explain in a moment, but really the whole point of today is to show you how you can grow your coaching business or your professional service business by a minimum of 5 clients in 30 days, because really what we want to help people do is make a difference and also make a lot more money for themselves. So we'll just kick this off because the first thing we want to do, and I really love if everyone could, I'll just set the kind of standard of this webinar. This is not your normal webinar where we sit back and we listen and we might take some notes. This is something, it's kind of, I call it like a Fight Club webinar, where we want everyone to participate, and if you want to get the most out of it, we'd really encourage you to kind of comment in the chat box, ask your questions. This is not we're trying to make this not a one-way event, but the first thing we want to know to establish is how much have you spent learning to be a life coach or learning your trade. That's the first thing that we want to establish here. And this will make a lot more sense in a moment once there's a couple of questions that we've got to ask here. So how much money have you spent learning to be a coach? Now, Liz and Carol, I actually can't see any of the questions coming through there. Let me just, actually, my mistake. I can now. So if you could just, how much money have you spent learning to be a coach?
So far, we have a couple of responses. Tom Mayer has said about $12,000, and KE said in excess of $100,000.
Okay, fantastic. Well, look, that was pretty similar to myself. Those figures are really not uncommon. The 12,000 is kind of a very normal figure, and I personally spent well over $100,000 myself. So the next question we want to ask is how much have you earned as a coach so far? So if you've invested X amount into your life coaching training, the next question is how much have you earned as a coach? So Carol, I'll have to rely on you there because I don't...
Absolutely. Just waiting for responses here. Just hang on one second. Kevin, do you want to just give us your answer verbally, Kevin?
How about we just, you might just read them out there just so we can keep these moving quickly. But
sure.
even if some people might be on iPads as well or something, so they might not be able to type, but even if you just make a note of it now,
sure.
The question that we really want to get to is which is greater. And really, when we look at this equation, 90% of coaches that I speak to are very passionate about making a difference, but 90% of them have spent usually more money on learning to be a coach than they've earned as a coach before. So there's these passionate people with these great skills who just who are spending a lot of money on learning, but it's not returning generally into an income for themselves. And part of the reason why we're doing this webinar today, this training, is that I just want to let you know there is a reason why there is a disparity between how much you've spent and how much you've earned as a coach. And what we're going to be doing is covering, we're going to cover some of these reasons today, and also give you some tips to help you turn this around. So I'm going to set this up here. I am obviously Australian, if you haven't noticed already. I apologise if my accent is a little bit unusual for you guys to understand. And look, when I get a bit excited, I can talk a little quickly. So I'm going to be doing my best. I'm going to be doing my best to taper that down so that you guys can hear me and understand me. We are going to be going quickly because we've got so much to cover. And look, some of the content that I'm going to be covering today could be quite contrary to what you've covered, so or what you've been taught to this date. So really, what I'd like you to do is just have an open mind. These are the strategies and these are some of the techniques that we've used to build a successful business. I'm certainly not saying this is the only way, but I am saying that if you're open, you'll get some tips that will help grow your coaching business. And look, at the end, we'll show you how you can get some more help as well if you like. So at the end of the webinar, we'll be showing you, some more resources that could help grow your coaching business. So the reason why I'm here, as Liz said before, I've been a coach for 11 years. I work 2.5 days a week, and then we have a 6-figure income. And the truth is, we worked very, very hard to build or to understand and know how to build a coaching business. And it's like, if you're just starting out, I really know what it's like, because there's very few resources out there that are effective at helping you bridge the gap between a new coach and a professional coach. And we did it the hard way, because back when I first started, they didn't have those resources. And I got hassled all the time by coaches to teach them how we did what we did. And it wasn't like we would help people where we could, but the truth was, we've got a young family. My children are 5 and 4, and I'll just real quickly, I'll apologise in advance. My children are at home today. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning here in Australia, and so if you hear some children playing or not playing and wrestling each other, then I apologise in advance. But so we've got a young family. We just didn't really have a reason why we wanted to go out into the world and teach people how to grow their coaching business. And also, this is Lennox Head. This image here is it's one of the best point breaks in Australia. So I like to surf. We just didn't have, with the lifestyle, we had a lifestyle business, and we didn't really have any interest in becoming, taking on any bigger enterprises. So, but then, there it is. So I assure you, she will survive that. Now, I went to this presentation a couple of years ago, or the start of last year, and there was one of the biggest coaching teachers in Australia was there, and this was a business conference. This wasn't a coaching conference. We were very interested to listen to this woman speak, because they have a very successful, well, they're probably one of the biggest in the country, and I was interested in listening to her speak, because I wanted to know from a business point of view, because I'm a bit of a business geek, how she grows her business and etc., her strategies. But one of the things that she said was that the average coach for her, the average client for her, is roughly worth about $100,000. Basically, one of the ladies before said they've spent about $100,000 on learning to be a coach, and we, as have we. But the average lifetime value of one of her clients is about $100,000, and yet the average income, the average income that she gets, only the top 1 or 2% of the coaches that go through her school will ever earn $100,000. So I kind of looked, I had this look on my face like this poor chap here, where there's an obvious disparity between the amount of money that people are spending and the amount of money that people are earning, so to speak. So this kind of gave me a bit of an idea. I went to bed and I slept on it. And I woke up the next morning, and I was sitting there having breakfast with my wife, and I said, do you remember those figures yesterday, the $100,000 average spent on learning to be a coach, and less than 1%? Do you remember this? And I won't tell you what I said, because it was it's probably not appropriate to be swearing on this, but I basically said, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to change this. It was the first time that I'd actually had that impetus to actually kind of go and influence the industry. And so we had this idea, and the idea was we were going to run an experiment. All we wanted to do was just know whether it was possible for someone who, like, are we lucky, or can we transfer our experience into other people's results or other coaches' results? So basically, we decided to do the experiment. We took a group of 10 people through a prototype. Now, in the prototype, every single person, so we took 10 people through the prototype in order to grow their coaching business. And basically, so it was a 6-week kind of test, and in that time, or a 5-week test, sorry, at the time, and in that time, everyone grew their coaching business, everyone grew their income. But the cool thing was, there was this guy here, his name's John, and John's a really cool guy, and he's a very excellent coach. But he was one of those, at the time, he was a full-time kitchen designer. So John, in less than 2 months, went from full-time kitchen designer to having a $63,000 per annum coaching business, and he picked up speaking gigs at a national group of his target market. But more importantly, he left the job that he hated. He actually called me one day in tears, and I thought, oh no, something bad's happened. But he was in tears because he just quit his job, and he was, tears of happiness.
Yeah.
But the cool thing with John, and why I'm highlighting this, why I'm highlighting John is that John's dyslexic, and he has a lot of issues reading and writing. So a dyslexic kitchen designer in 2 months built a $63,000 a year coaching business by just by following kind of a very simple model. Anyway, there was a bunch of other great results. One girl got 13 clients in less than 2 weeks. Everyone grew their coaching business, but in a long-winded way, this is why I'm here, because you don't have to spend $100,000 learning to be a coach. You can actually, if you've got the right information, you can build a viable coaching business, because there is a hell of a lot of opportunity for coaches now. So and look, a full-time practice, if that's what you're looking for, is not that far away. So part of the reason why we're doing this is just to let people know that stay in this game. If it's something you're passionate about, stay with it, because you will eventually get there. So that's really what we're here for. We want to change the game, and not just in Australia, but we actually want to change the coaching industry as a whole. So all right, now just a couple of quick stats, very, very quickly. The average life coach in Australia, this is Australia, I know the income in America is different, but the average life coach earns around $12,000 in their first year of coaching. Most coaches will quit after 4 months, and the average coach, less than 1% of coaches will earn a six-figure income. We basically looked at all the coaches we know and said there's 3 types of coaches. The first type of coach is the broke coach. This is the person who spent all their money learning to be a coach. The second type of coach is the burnt out coach, and the burnt out coach is basically the one who's been running around trying everything to grow their coaching business and look after everyone, and eventually they've found themselves burnt out. And then the third type of coach is a combination of the two, which is the bummed coach. Now, the bummed coach is basically you've spent all your money, you've tried really, really hard, you've burnt yourself out, and in the end, you get to the point where you want to give up. Now, we want to stop this from happening, because I've personally seen some really very skillful, valuable coaches with great abilities who've quit and who aren't, providing the valuable service that they could, because they got to this point. So what we really want to be doing is, like I said, there's great skills, there's great abilities. We want to be making a difference for people. We want to help people. We do, like it sounds a bit cliche, but we do want to make the world a better place. And at the same time, we want to be making some money as well. So the idea is we want to leverage our passion for making a difference into a lifestyle and an income. So now, here's the reason why. We're going to get straight into the content here, and the reason why most coaches are failing to get a return on that investment is they've got the business foundation slightly back to front. And the business foundation really is that most coaches have is they build a business for other people and they sell it to themselves. Now, I'll explain what this means. By building it for other people, it means that you build the business so that it's convenient for other people. But when we market or try and promote our business, we do it in a way that we would understand it, but the market doesn't. And I'll show you, there's basically 5 reasons or 5 ways that coaches do this. And just see if you can relate to any of these too, by the way. The first reason is that we try and be everything to everybody. Now, why we started coaching is because it's generally in our nature we want to help people. And when we start out, most coaches figure that if we just go around helping people, then that's what will grow our business. But so we try to help everyone, and we develop this thing that we call it Superman complex, where we're just trying to save the world, but we forget that we need to get paid in order to survive. And the funny thing happens when you are running around rescuing everyone, you end up with no sale now, or no clients, because it's kind of like giving away, like if it's like a carpenter or a plumber turning up to your house and just starting work on your property for you. I mean, if they're just going to give you the service, you're less likely to pay for it, or less likely to value it as well. Now, what I've got a million stories of this, because over the last 11 years, but one in particular, I had this woman who would call me all the time, and you know, as a coach, you do end up helping people, but she would call me all the time and ask me for advice, and how do I do this, and then I found out, well, I was talking to a couple of colleagues of mine, and she would also be calling them. So here this lady was calling all of us, getting free advice, not paying any of us. And you know what? The problem with that is, if you know, because she's getting all this different advice, she's not paying for it. She's not implementing any of the advice, and she's basically not doing anything but kind of like this poor guy. So we call it an SOS client, or a clinger. In Australia we call it, which is like someone who just hangs on and I don't mean to sound too dramatic, but just sucks the energy right out of you. Okay, so and you get this poor look on the face, like this poor bloke here. Now, the second reason why we build our business for others but sell it to ourselves is, the truth is, we're trained to be a coach. Our skill set is strongest as a coach, and it's kind of like, we need to think of our business as like a car. The coaching aspect of it is just the steering. The coaching is just the steering wheel, so to speak. That's how we direct our business. But if we don't have an engine, in other words, a marketing strategy, if we don't have wheels or like a sales process, or if we don't have all the other aspects working together, then we're not actually going to travel anywhere. And what happens is, when we're in a situation with a potential client, what most of us do is we end up just coaching them. We go, well, I'll just show you how I do it. But what actually happens there is it's like I said, the carpenter who comes over and fixes your thing for you. You've solved their problem without getting them to pay for it, and in the process they don't value it. Now, we had when I first started coaching, I'd just come back from the United States, one of the places we were studying over there, and we set up our business. We had a huge lease. We had massive overheads, and you know, we did all the. We got the computers and the fit out of the office, and it was a beautiful space. And then we sat down and waited, and the truth was, just no one came. We thought, well, if we've got the space, and we've also got the skills, people would just naturally turn up, but no one did. And my business partner at the time, she went back to America and started studying more. I was stuck in Australia, and I thought to myself, the thought I had was, this doesn't work. This mustn't be you know, it mustn't be right for me to be doing this, and started to doubt myself. But then I noticed that other people were successful, and I realized that I might be a good coach, but the truth was, I have no idea how to build a business, and that's what I need to learn. So, like I said, most coaches are strongest in their coaching, and they lack that. You know, they're weaker in those other areas, and that actually is going to influence your results dramatically. So the third reason why we help, we build it for others but sell it to ourselves is the truth is, coaching is intangible. We're dealing with often mindset and spirit, and it's kind of like a gas. We know, I'm sure you've been in this situation where you know that you see people, you know you can help them, but when you try and explain your service, their eyes might go cross-eyed, or they'll kind of glaze over and change the subject. And the reason why that is not because they're not interested in your coaching. It's just because they don't understand what you do. a lot of coaches use jargon and lingo and buzzwords, and these are what we call exclusive words. These are words that if you're using jargon or specific coaching words that you would understand as a coach, but the prospect doesn't understand, as soon as you start using those words, they start to get a bit confused and they feel excluded. And it's just like I see it all the time with especially with new coaches. They use their buzzwords but that they probably don't fully understand either. And the key is not to use exclusive language. The key is to use what we call inclusive. So if you can't explain your service to someone in a way that they get very, very easily without the jargon or the buzzwords, you will be speaking a foreign language to them. Now, my best mate, I've known him, we grew up, we were in nappies together. We weren't in the same nappy, but we were in nappies together. But we've spoken at length about coaching. This was quite a few years ago, and I've been coaching for about 3 or 4 years at the time. And he said to me, you know, I know you've explained it, but I still have no idea what you do. And that's when I realized that I'm speaking a foreign language to this guy, because we had long conversations and he still didn't get it. But that wasn't his fault. That was my inability to express it in a way that he could understand it easily. So the key with this is we need to make it solid from gas to ice, and rather than talk about jargon, well, actually, I'm just going to show you how you can do this very, very soon. So the last reason is, well, not the last reason, but the fourth reason is that our marketing is designed to fail. So most people, like I said, we build a business for others, but we sell it to ourselves. Marketing can be a really frustrating thing when you're first putting it together, because it takes a lot of time. It can be very confusing. It can be, you know, awkward to put it together because it's a new thing to learn. But we put this huge effort in and we get this tiny reward or sometimes no reward. And look, most people have probably spent money on learning to market, and it's quite frustrating, especially at the start, because you don't often get these results. And the reason why it doesn't work, especially for coaches, is most coaches they'll do one of 3 things, and I'm going to highlight the 2 major ones. Is most coaches, when they market, is they try and explain, they try and market their method. They talk about, you know, my technique is this, my technique is that, this is the best technique, or they market themselves. It's like, this is why I'm good, I'm the highest qualified, etc., etc. But the truth is, people don't really care about your method, and you know, when you get really down to it, they don't actually care about you as well. Now they might care about you, but if from a prospect point of view, the prospect is most marketing forgets forgets the prospect, and if you forget the prospect, you just won't get any results. The prospect doesn't care about your method or your experience. What they care about is what's in it for them. And I want to really make this your mantra, like for your marketing, is if you're putting a marketing piece together, you must clearly stipulate, and if it's not clear what's in it for the prospect, you'll miss the mark. But if you've got it really clear, I'm going to help you do this with in your marketing, then you're going to get much better results. So anyway, I'm going to give you a few tips on that as well, just in a moment. Now, the final reason, real quick, is that that people struggle getting past this investment into income is what I call, it's like nobody wants a life coach. Now, this might sound a little bit weird, but the truth is, no one wakes up in the morning and says, hey, I feel like a life coach today. Most people wake up in the morning and they're preoccupied with the problems or the situations or the goals or things that they're trying to achieve. Now, you might be able to help them do that, but they probably don't understand it. They're sitting there going, oh, I need this, I need my money solved, problem solved, I need my relationship issue solved, I hate my job and I want a career that I love, or I've got this goal and I have no idea how to get it. And they're sitting there, they're perfect, you know, they're perfect prospects for you, but they still don't realize that you are their solution. Now, I remember when I first started, my friends were saying to me, "You've really got to go and see this lady. You've got to go see this lady. She's a great life coach." And I was in my early 20s at the time, and to be honest, due to being young and whatever, I really could have used some help. My life certainly wasn't looking in a great spot. But at the time, all I really wanted to do was all I really wanted to do was kind of get my life in order and start making some money. And it wasn't until I saw a guy called Robert Kiyosaki speak. Some of you will be familiar with him, but he said, if you want to make money, then you need to get your head straight. And he said, if you want to get your head straight, go and see this lady over here so you can make more money. And it was at that point that I realized that, the coach is actually my solution. The coach was my solution, but until then, they were just something that they were a distraction, that they actually weren't entering into my mind. And this is the same with every single person. Most people don't realize you are the solution to their problem. Now, I wish I had more time to cover this, but the real thing is that all we're here to do is help people overcome a problem or achieve an end result. If you can isolate this issue, if you can isolate this and say, I can help you overcome this problem, or I can help you achieve this end result, then you'll and especially market that to people, then you're certainly going to get a much better result with your marketing and business development. So I'll just throw it over to you here, Carol. The question that I want to really ask is not which of these mistakes can you relate to, but really what I want to ask people is, have you been guilty of any of these mistakes, and how has it affected your business? How has it affected you trying to grow your coaching business? So I'll leave that. I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee here.
Sure.
I'll give you another 10 seconds to
20
seconds to answer.
Well, I know for me, Adam, I can certainly relate to that I don't explain what I do clearly, because I have members of my family who still say, when I'm talking to my friends, I don't know what to tell them that you do for a living. And so I realize, like you, I am in some ways not communicating the depth of what I do and how it makes a difference in the world. So I absolutely relate to that one.
Look, I can really, I remember my mum saying that too, like, partly because I had probably avoided, we had a 6-figure business, and my mum would still say to me, Adam, why don't you go and get a real job?
Yes. Because
she would see me working 2.5 days a week and think that I wasn't, being productive, but we had I said, Mum, I can't afford to go get a real job. Anyway, so I can, if your family can't, or in my case, your best friend can't explain what you do or doesn't understand, then it's going to be, there's a sign there that your prospects will be a little confused as well.
Right.
So were there any questions that came through there?
Nothing at the moment. I've just invited people to add something to the chat and haven't seen anything just yet, but if something comes up, I will definitely pass it along.
Fantastic. All right. Well, let's just keep going, because and if people, feel free to add your responses and questions if you want. There will be a chance at the end to answer any questions as well.
Thank you.
But okay, so really what we want to say here is that most coaches, the reason why these are so obvious is because just about every single coach I've met does the same thing, and it's kind of like herd mentality. They go, well, that's what so-and-so is doing. I'll do that. They don't actually realize, they don't actually look and go, well, are they actually being successful with it? But the herd or most people kind of think the same way. This is what I should do. I should try and explain my method or whatever. So the rest of today is we actually want to spend the time that we've got together to help you make the leap from that to a viable coaching business, because I know it can be done in a lot faster than most people realise. So, okay, we're going to flip this over now. The reason why most coaches were not successful is because generally they build their business for others and sell it to themselves. Now, how we flip this over is just to quite literally reverse it. The key is to build your business for yourself and then sell it to others. And what that basically means is we want to build your business in a way that suits you and suits your lifestyle, and that so it's built around you and your needs and your values and your vision, etc. But we want to sell it in a way that other people really understand it. And I'll show you a few tips on how we can do that now. So the key to do this is, well, put it this way, a good friend of mine used to say, if you're not your own best client, you suck. Now, I'm glad it was him that said it and not me, but that's really what he's saying. For coaches, we just don't have any excuse. We all kind of know this, but really it's kind of like being on a plane. You get on these planes and they say to you, here's the exits, and in the case of the emergency, the oxygen's going to come down, and they always say to you, fit your own mask first. Now, it's exactly the same thing with coaching. It's like if you're running around, it's all well and good looking after everyone, but if you're not looking after yourself, then you're not going to have a sustainable coaching business. When I first started coaching, when I first got some success with coaching, I was working about 40 hours a week in the chair, so 40 hours a week of client contact, and that at the time that kind of equated to like a 70-hour week. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror at the end of this week, and my face was withdrawn and I was exhausted, and my clients were bouncing out of my office, and I was kind of melting under the table into a puddle of exhaustion. And I just realized this is not going to be sustainable. It cost me the relationship I was in at the time. I had no real social life because I was too busy working or too exhausted to actually go out. I had no surf and no social life, and I thought, this is crazy. This is a business that suits everyone else and is not sustainable for me. So really what we need to do here is I had this idea that I need to look at how I want my life to be and actually write these down. So if you want to get out of this kind of cycle of, well, the first step actually in building a coaching business is to ask yourself, how do I want my life to be? And who do I ideally want to be working with? And what problem are they trying to overcome, or what outcome or prize are they trying to achieve? And once we've got that, we've got the basis for a coaching business. So how do I want my life to be? Who do I want to work with? And what is their problem? What problem do they have that I can help them with? We've got the kind of end result, or the starting point. Sorry, at the starting point of our coaching business. So the first step in actually building our map or our a coaching business that is viable, the first thing to know is that we want to connect with clarity. Okay, so what this means is we want to connect with the prospects who need or want what you have. Now, this is a really interesting thing, because we want to actually be laser focused in who we connect with. Most people think that the more people I connect with, the better. In fact, most people assume that if I've got a big database or a big list, then I'm going to be more successful. But the truth is, size actually doesn't matter. A friend of mine, he's got a list of, at the time he had a list of about 30,000 people, and my list at the time was less than 400, and I said to him, mate, I've got list envy here. You've got this massive 30,000 person list. I've got a 400-person list, and I assumed that a big list would mean lots of money. But the reality with him was that he was working 6 days a week, and he was actually at the time earning like half as much as we were with our tiny little 400-person list. And because I'd said to him, mate, I have list envy, and he said, mate, I'm the one with list envy, because your list, every single person on it is relevant to you. Like, he's got this massive list filled with people who weren't who weren't the ideal client for him. And that's he has what we call the open approach. Now, what I want to help you learn is that we want to have like a laser focused approach to our marketing. And so the marketing, what we want to do is, the reason why we market is not just to get our name out there, but it's actually to get the right people, connect with the right people. Now, the first thing we want to do here is when we're looking at marketing is we want to create what's called solutions-based marketing. So this, like I said to you before, if you're marketing, don't worry about your method, don't worry so much about your you and your qualifications and accreditations. The marketing must really speak directly to your client and say, well, what's in it for you? By doing this, by having marketing that solves people's problems and provides a solution, you establish yourself more as the expert rather than, if you, like there's a saying, it's like, I think it's an NLP saying, which I'm not trained in NLP, it's not my thing, but it says, if you can communicate or express someone's problem to them in a way that is better than they can explain it, they will immediately attribute you to having the solution for it. So in other words, if you can speak directly to their problem and if you can speak directly to their situation, they will immediately assume that you're the expert, even if you don't have the solution. Now, obviously, if you're a coach, you want to be able to provide that solution. But you remember when we said before that most people market themselves or they market their method? What we really want to do is make sure that our marketing offers that solution to their specific problem. If we can do that, we're really 90% of the way here. It's slightly more complex than that, but and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a moment. But really, let's just start with saying, make sure you're solving people's problems with your marketing. I had a kinesiologist come into me once, and he was saying his marketing wasn't working. So we had a quick look at it, and he said the headline was, "I can help everyone achieve anything." That was the headline of his marketing. Now, that in itself is a perfect example of what we call the open approach. So he's going to get, like, he may be able to help everyone achieve anything, and that's completely fine, but that's open approach marketing. So we tweaked it, and we simply asked two questions. Who do you want to be working with? Who do you like working with? And the answer to that was, I like working with elite athletes. He helped an Australian guy get to the Olympics, one of the Australian divers, and he likes working with elite athletes. So we said to them, well, what can you help them do? And he said, basically, I help elite athletes get an extra 10% out of their performance. Now, for an elite athlete, who's training and working and really dedicated to their craft, an extra 10% is quite a big difference. So we just made that his headline. Rather than helping everyone achieve anything, we made the headline of his marketing, helping elite athletes get an extra 10%. And you can, you tell me, Carol, what do you think would have happened with the adjustment of that headline?
Well, I would imagine he probably got exactly what he wanted. Those athletes would think that was the best thing ever.
Well, that's exactly what happened. They did. But the other cool thing that happened was anyone who wanted to be an elite athlete.
Yes.
Started. He actually got all the people around it as well, which was the fascinating thing. He got a bunch of elite professional or even elite amateur athletes, but then he got a whole bunch of people who were aspiring athletes as well.
Right.
But also, he got all the other folks as well, because by being really specific, that was like, they call it the Sharpie, the pointy end of the stick. By being really specific and really targeted, he actually got a much better response, because people actually could understand what he was doing. There was none of this intangibility.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really, really important. Be specific with who you want to work with and what you're going to what you're offering them. So when we do this, by being specific, it actually is the first step in building trust. Now, trust is a really, in the sales process, the key thing is trust. Now, people generally won't buy if they don't trust you, generally. Now, in some cases, you'll buy something if you don't trust a salesman. But I tell you what, if you can build trust and rapport with your prospects, it's a big, and I'll talk about this in a little bit more. But so really, just taking one step back, when we're building these marketing, when we're looking at marketing, the first step, and there's 4 steps here, so write these down. The first step to building trust and the first step to building exceptional marketing is, step 1 is get inside their head. So basically that means figure out who you want to work with and ask the question, well, what are they waking up and thinking about first thing in the morning? What is the thing what is the most important thing to them, or what is the problem that they're facing? Is it money? Is it relationships? Is it their health? Is it their lack of fulfillment in their job? But get inside their head. That's step 1. Step 2 is to design your marketing message directly to that problem. What we want to be doing, is when in doing this, we want to, which takes us to step 3, is we want to help them understand why the problem is there in the first place. So marketing is really, this is why there is the problem. Step 3 is why. Help them understand why. And step 4 is help them understand what they can do about it. So step 3 is why. Why do you have this problem? Why is this problem there in the first place? And step 4 is this is what you can do about it. So that's like the 4 steps to building trust and effective marketing. Is make sure they know why they have the problem, and at least know that there is a solution, and provide them with that hope. Obviously, you can't always solve someone's problem in a marketing piece, but if you can establish those 2 things, you're going to have a massive impact on your marketing. So I know I'm just mindful of the time, so we're going to go through these. We'll get to some questions in a moment, but if we've got effective marketing and we're in front of the people we want to be working with, the third step in the process of building a coaching business is to the third step is kind of to get rid of the idea that you have to sell. Now, with a coaching business, it's like building a relationship. If you want sales, for me, is kind of like creating a one-night stand situation, whereas alignment is like creating a long-term relationship. So the goal of the sales process when you're sitting down with your client is not to sell them your service. The goal is to figure out whether you're a fit or not. Do I want to work with them? Do we fit together? Are we a comfortable mix? And do they want their problem solved? So do they want this problem solved? It's quite often, as a coach, you'll sit down with someone and go, you look at them and go, well, clearly you need to address something here. But my brother, he's younger than me, and quite often I think, oh mate, you're smoking cigarettes. Like, you got to. I'm thinking he needs that problem solved, but he doesn't want that problem solved. So there's no way I can, there's no way I'm going to coach him if he doesn't want the problem solved. So alignment is the key here. How do we find a fit rather than find a client or sell our service? Now, I hope that makes sense. But most people, the way the process works is that most people go into sell mode, which is where we're constantly talking and constantly trying to show them about our method or show them about how good we are. But the key is not to be talking. The key is to really understand the client. Now, in a sales process, the goal of the sales process is very simple. We want to humanize the sales process enough so that it's two people sitting down having a conversation with each other where there's trust and rapport built, and our goal is to understand their situation. Now, I use a specific alignment session, I call it. In those alignment sessions, 90%, or sorry, I'm exaggerating slightly, 89% of my alignment sessions, when I sit down with a prospect or a client, 89% of those end up in us working together. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason why that is the case is because of the laser-focused marketing. I'm not sitting down. I wouldn't be sitting down with someone if they haven't already fit into my laser-focused marketing. If they're, in terms of the kinesiologist, he can help everyone achieve anything, but he really wants elite athletes to get that extra 10%. He's really helping people who want to get ahead and move forward. So by being really specific there, the people who come in might not be elite athletes, but they're a fit for who he wants to work with, people who want to move forward. And it's exactly the same with our coaching clients. Most of them are pre-qualified. Our marketing pre-qualifies them. So it makes this part of the process just very simply, I need to understand your situation, and by understanding it, I'll know whether I can help you or not. So as I said, the key is if all those previous steps are done correctly, the hard work's been done for you. So then it's just a matter of whether we're compatible or not. Does that make sense to you there, Carol?
Very much so. Very much so. If you've actually filtered the people who would not be appropriate to be working with you, so when you sit down, they're already, like you said, 90% of the way there.
Fantastic. Look, there were some guys in Sydney, and they were some of the best salespeople, and they were used as an example numerous times because they had a client base, and they would call the client base, and they sold printer cartridges or toner cartridges, I think you call them in the States. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about, the things that go in the printer, the ink. And they would call you and at the same time just about every week and go, do you need printer cartridges today? And if you didn't need them today, they'll go, cool, and just hang up. That was all. And if you needed them tomorrow, they would hang up. Because all they wanted to know was, do you need them right now? We can be there in 10 minutes. Do you need them now?
Right.
If you didn't need them now, they would leave. So they were just very specific. We've got cartridges. Do you want them now? Mm-hmm. And it's the same with it's the same with coaching. Do you have this problem? Do you need it solved now? And it's one of the most most people think it's about getting a big database, but it's not. It's finding the right people who have the problem that you can solve, and it's important to them now, so to speak.
Right. Yes.
Well,
a couple of them. Kevin has just mentioned, I think, a comment. Definitely, the large area of his niche is relationship coaching. Without the relationship, there is no power. And then Rhonda had a question. What do you use to filter out those that are not your client type? Do you use a questionnaire?
Yes, you certainly can. You certainly can do that. There's two ways, and it kind of depends on who you are and what you're offering. But one of the things that a questionnaire is a very good way of doing it, but it's also the marketing itself. The more specific you are with it, the less likely you are to get people who aren't a necessary fit for you. So really the answer to that is because the more laser focused you are with the marketing, you're going to naturally diminish your that process, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a lot of the time when you're actually even just booking someone in for an appointment, you'll just be able to tell quite quickly whether they're the right fit for you. Now this is a real warning though, because I've had on a number of occasions I've thought, I don't know whether this person's the right fit for me, and they've worked out to be one of my best clients when I've actually had a look at their situation. So it's not a perfect science. You are going to occasionally have. We'll put it this way: the last time I didn't have a good fit with a client was because they had their business was coal seam gas. Now I'm not anti or against coal seam gas. I don't want to get into that argument, especially in a public forum like this. But I certainly didn't want to help someone grow their business without, in 20 years' time, I might regret that.
Right.
So I just went, look, when you're a nice guy, but I just can't help you because, well, I think I was a little bit more polite. I didn't say it was constant gas, but I think we said, I just don't know whether we're a good fit for each other. Just
good way to handle it.
Yeah, actually, no, it was fine because we just knew it. Like, it's not one of the most empowering things a coach can do. One of the most empowering things you can have in a sales situation is to be able to say, you know what, I just don't know whether we're a good fit for each other. Right. And the really interesting thing that happens when you do that is most of the time, I think it's 90% of the time you say that, they will actually reach for you more. Yes. They'll want you more, which is very interesting. So, but anyway, there's a million things I could talk to you about alignment, but the major thing is really understand your client's situation, and if you understand it, you'll know whether you can provide them a solution or not, and how long it's going to take them. So great. That leads me to the next point. I'll get onto this because it's actually really poignant now, is that your prospects, what we want to do is make a difference, and the prospect itself has two questions. Excuse me. The prospect wants to know, what do I get? What problem are you going to solve, or what are you going to help me achieve? And also, how long is it going to take me? How long will it take me to get that? Now, interestingly, most people assume that the initial question is cost. How much is it going to cost me? But that comes further down. If people are presenting you the cost question straight away, it's usually because they're not. They either really understand those first two things, or or they're not totally clear on what you can do. So they're looking kind of for a way out. Like most of the time, people just, when I work with people, seriously, it's like it's a passing comment. Hey, do you want to, like, once they've said, oh, hey, I want to work with you. This is great. Blah blah blah. And I usually am the one who says, do you want to know how much this is going to cost? Because they don't really. They're not really concerned about cost. And where I learnt this, to be honest, was I was in the Philippines, in Manila, and there was shanty towns. This is kind of an aside point, but there was shanty towns as far as the eye could see, right? And the floors are dirt floors. It's little corrugated huts, and no running water and no toilets, etc., or no showers or bathrooms and stuff like that. But so these guys were living a really basic kind of life, and you'd think that they were that money was a big issue for them. But the truth was that just about every single shanty had a television with cable in it.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is, money is never an objection, really. If they really want something, these guys, no floors, no toilets, no running water, no bathroom, but Jesus, I've got my cable TV and I'm stoked. I'm totally happy. So it's the same with other people. If price is never really an issue, it's usually an excuse.
Right.
And if spoken to direct, like if you really understand them, and like I said, there's two questions: what do I get? What are you going to help me overcome or achieve? And how long will it take me to get it? That's really all they really want to know. Once you know you're a good fit.
Right.
So the goal for the client, is to solve the problem, and the goal for you, really, when you're working with them initially, is the goal for you is to get them ready to take off to the next level. Now, I'll explain what I mean by this real quick. The way I think, I'm not going to get into a religious kind of thing here, but I'll just say the way whatever your view is of the Great Spirit, the way the Great Spirit works is through a process called procession, right? Now, procession basically means the side effect or flow-on effect of what you do. Now, the best example of this is like a bee. A bee wakes up in the morning, gets out of his little bee bed, his bee hive, and then he says, I want nectar. I want nectar. That's all the bee is possessed with, is just this longing for nectar. And what he does, he goes out and gets his nectar. That's all he does. Get the nectar, get the nectar. But what the processional effect or the flow-on effect of him getting the nectar is cross-pollination, and the bees are so important to our food preservation and plants surviving. So what I'm saying is the bee thinks about the nectar, but the way the world works is the processional effect is where it's really valuable. And it's the same with our clients. When they come in, we're going to solve their problems initially. We're going to solve them a problem or help them achieve something. But the key thing to understand here is that all we're really doing here is helping them uncover their treasure. Now, like I said, the goal for the client is to overcome the problem or solve the problem, and the goal for you is to uncover what their treasure is, which leads me to the next level here, which is ascend. So don't worry, look, I'm not interested in being a problem solver for people. Really what I'm interested in as a coach is finding really interesting projects to work with people on. But you don't get them, you won't get those unless you've solved a few problems first. Now the rule that we used to say, my old mentor used to teach me, she taught me that the problem is never the problem. So someone will come in and say, hey, I've got this problem, and in solving that problem, you'll dig up or you'll find what they're really interested in, which is an adventure. Now the perfect example of this is I had a client come in, and he had some relationship issues. So basically he said, hey Adam, can you help me solve these relationship issues? We worked on those, but in doing so, we actually uncovered his dream, which is we sorted out his relationship and got him moving forward in that. But what he really wanted to do was, he's a really spiritual guy, but he's also he's kind of like the love child of Steve Irwin and Deepak Chopra. So what he's interested in is flying around the world and having these kind of spiritual adventures. He goes to Bali and visits a temple. He goes to Peru and takes ayahuasca or does shamanic kind of things over here. But they film it. And so what he really wanted to do, the adventure he wanted to go on, was to create this kind of spiritual reality TV show where he'd go and try all these really cool and sometimes crazy spiritual adventures. And that's what he wanted to do. This was the adventure. So he came in for relationships, but we uncovered this kind of goal in doing so. And in uncovering the goal, like now he's just, I can't remember who he's just signed up with, but one of the LA TV companies. So basically now it looks like they're going to be, from relationship solving to moving to LA and creating a reality spiritual TV show. So this is the point, like, that I'm trying to get to here is, don't, like, as a coach, the client wants to solve a problem, but you want to help them solve the problem, but also uncover their dream, because once you've uncovered the dream, you get to go on an adventure with your clients. So yeah. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. Like, if you're a coach, it's just, the difference between therapy, I suppose, and coaching for me, as far as I'm concerned, is a coach helps someone get into shape, in other words, solve their problem, but then move forward, which is find that adventure to go on. And it happens with every single client I've ever worked with, really, is solve an initial problem, and then you'll find the adventure underneath it.
Wonderful.
So, yeah. Do you have any questions there, Carol?
Well, I just wanted to say, Adam, that we're just running short of time, so I'm just wondering, just wanted to work towards wrapping up, if that would be all right.
Fantastic. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's
like
okay.
I said to you,
Fabulous. We could go on and on.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay. We'll get on to it. So, really, I suppose I'm not sure why people came here today. I know chances are you're a coach, probably want some more clients, or you might have just wanted some tips to help you get, develop your coaching ability. Most coaches I speak to are tired of struggling to get clients. They're tired of being broke. They're tired of spending lots of money on learning to be a coach, and they feel like they're kind of stuck, wanting to make a difference, but don't know how to translate that to the market. So we've given you a whole bunch of tips for you today, like how to build it for, stop building it for other people and selling it to ourselves. We know, most of us are guilty of trying to be everything to everybody. We understand that marketing is really about, it's not about getting prospects, it's getting about the laser-focused, targeted prospects. So we want to remove hope from the equation here. So earlier, look, if it's hope, if we're relying on hope, we don't necessarily have a strategy we can rely on to grow a coaching business. It's marketing should be an investment. Business development should be an investment that's reliable, rather than something that we kind of throw money at, and we hope that it gives us a return. So the key here is, again, building it for yourself and selling it to other people. Using that laser-focused connection, that's where it starts, being very specific there. And the laser-focused connection leads us to very exciting adventures to take our clients on. So there's a couple of ways you can make this a hell of a lot easier on yourself and a lot faster. So like I said, John was wanting to be a coach for a number of years. He'd done all the training, but it hadn't turned into coaching clients for him. And basically the coaching clients came just with putting that right strategy in place. So most people want to get out of this part-time life coaching cycle and really get into that, into a professional coaching business themselves. So what we know is that we know that we need a plan that's reliable, that works. And what I say to people when they first start is get rid of all your distractions and just get the first one strategy that you know is just going to help you get some clients and that you can rely on, rather than trying every single thing. And the big question really is, how can we get these results for your business as quickly as possible? Now, I said to you at the start that we could show you how we might be able to help you a little bit further, make it happen for you a bit faster. Most people, it took me a while of trial and error, and it was quite slow and expensive. If I had my time again now, it would, we could really build a coaching business from scratch very, very quickly, because we have that strategy. We have that kind of A to Z, nuts and bolts kind of system that we know that if we put this marketing out, we will get these results, and it's reliable, so to speak. So today we're basically, I said to you we'd be able to show you a way that we could work together. We do have a shortcut. The shortcut is what we call the 5 Clients in 30 Days program. Now, I'll make this really clear. This is not for everyone. The big thing that I would say to people is, look, this is not a program that you put a CD in and you meditate and then suddenly things will appear. This is a business building strategy, and to build a really good business, it requires work setting something up. There's a saying, you know, there's always a little bit of struggle going to the next level. So, you know, if you want to get a bit fitter, it takes a bit of effort. If you want to, you know, get more intelligent or do better in a certain area, it usually takes some practice or some study, and it's the same with this program. This is not, what we do is not for people who just want to sit back and watch things happen. I personally, I'm not going to comment on the secret or anything like that, but all those things are important. But really, this program requires a bit of work. And the truth is, like I said to you before, most of us just want to be making a difference, and we want to make some cash, and we want to do it in the fastest possible way that we possibly can. And so this is why we put this program together. It's 5 Clients in 30 Days is what it's called. Now, interestingly, it's a 6-week online training, and when I say 6 weeks, you go through it over 6 weeks, but you get to keep it obviously for as long as you want. But if we're going to work together, it's the first thing that we do is make sure we build a foundation that's going to last, not one that you're going to get burnt out on quickly. So the first step, like I say to people all the time, take a little bit of time getting this right first, rather than so anyway, building the first thing we do is help you build a strategy so that the business is exactly how you want it to be, and you know, you can tweak it as you go, but we want this thing to last. So you're, you know, a 10-year coach or a 20-year coach rather than a 4-month coach, etc. So that's the first step. The second step is basically, how do we build a program that gives people results? So and how do we kind of look at our ideal person and build a program that is tangible and solves their problem, so that they can we can get to that ascension place as quickly as possible. The third week in the program is basically life coach marketing. Now, this is a basic. This is the foundations of what you need to do to coach, market a life coaching business. Now, life coaching marketing, it is very different to any other industry. You know, it's different to any other professional service. So in week 3, we talk about the specifics of it and how do you do it. And week 4 is where we actually build it. So we want to build value marketing or solutions-based marketing that gives you a lot of credibility, gets a lot of response, and is designed to create a viral experience as well, so that it gets shared and you know, so one piece of marketing doesn't stop there. It actually, you know, becomes like a virus, as everyone knows what viral marketing is there. And then week 5 is where we cover the alignment session. Now, the alignment session, for me, it's usually, like I said, about 89% of our prospects that we sit and do an alignment session with end up being a client. Most of our guys usually start, when they first do it, they're usually about 60 to 70%, and that's just because it's new, and they're also tweaking the marketing as well. But most of our guys are up to 80 to 90% very quickly with the alignment sessions as well. So that's, you know, how the exact session that I use to grow our coaching and when we're selling, so to speak. And then the final thing is the whole strategy, making it all work together. This is basically where we put it all together and launch the program. So once you've built this, it's just a strategy. Whenever you need clients, you can just start. You can just deploy the system, so to speak, and implement the system to grow your coaching business. So we charge $1,500 for our prototype, but basically what we're doing today is for the choice folks. Sorry, for you guys today for Practice Based Solutions, we've got a 6-week program for only $497. So it's the strategic game plan, the how to build a power program, marketing, how to align with a client rather than sell, and the overall strategy to grow your business for $497. Now, we've got a guarantee. This is, I think, the coolest bit of the program. Now, we're dedicated to giving you the best possible information to grow your coaching business. So the guarantee is this: if you go through this training and do the work and deploy the system, and you don't get 5 clients, not within 30 days, but within 70 days of purchasing, we'll give you 100% refund, and you get to keep the program as well. So we'll refund you, and you get to keep the worksheets and bonuses, etc. So it's basically, like I said, a guaranteed program to grow your coaching business. Now, if you want to register, all you have to do is go over to this URL, which is Carol. Could you type that into the
Yes, I can.
so the guys
Yes,
can just click on that? So it's
certainly.
5clientsin30days.com.au/registration. 5clientsin30days.com.au/registration. So if you go over there and put your details in, and basically you'll get your login sent out to you straight away, and you'll get access to the program immediately. So, sorry, you wanted to say?
That's okay. I was just saying that it's in the chat box now. That is hyperlinked, so people can click right on it.
Fantastic. All right. So just to put this in perspective, I don't know how much one client is worth to you. The idea here is that with every program, we've got a rule. With every program we need that someone does with us, it's got to be, we aim for a 10 times return. So I don't know what one client is worth to you, but what we're hoping for is that you will get at least 10 times return. Look, initially, but over a lifetime, it's obviously going to be a lot more valuable than that to you. And the idea here is we want to get out of this, flip this over, so we're not spending all our money on learning to be a coach, but we're actually making a difference and earning a great income at the same time.
Wonderful.
So, and that's the fastest way for us to kind of bridge that gap.
Yes. Very good point.
Okay, so we've got, I'm going to go through this real quick. We've got a special for just today. You get the program today for it's normally $14.97 for $497 US, and you also get a ticket. Like if this is actually, it says there a 1-day Jedi Life Coach training, but it's actually a 2-day event in Byron Bay where you can come and spend 2 days with me. I teach people a technique that I call Jedi Life Coaching, which is basically how do you use intuition and your psychic abilities and bring those into your coaching for far better results. People have often asked me, what's the difference between your coaching methods and other people's? And mine's very simple. The answer is very simple. The answer is I have a goal in life, and that is to think less. I don't want to think, and my coaching is, the way I teach people how to coach is designed to get them thinking less and using their instincts and intuition more to get better results, rather than having to use my mind all the time.
Wonderful.
So the other thing as well is there's a workshop, the rapid workshop creation method. So if you're one of those people who wants to get not just one-on-one clients, but create some workshops, this is actually, it says there 97, it's actually $197 normally that we sell that. That's 2 typos on my slides there, I apologize. But and there's also basically we're going to do 55 days or 2 months of group coaching with me as well. So there's the training, there's the 2 tickets to the Jedi training, there's the rapid workshop creation method, and then there's two months worth of group coaching with me, which is basically once a month we get together with a group and we just go through whatever questions you've got and make sure that you're getting the best results out of the program. And that special is $497 today.
Wonderful.
Now, there is that link again, 5 clients in 30days.com.au/registration. If you're keen, go and jump over there now and register. Thank you very much for your time. I apologise for going a bit over. I do tend to talk a bit, but thanks for your time. That kind of concludes the presentation side of it. And I just wanted to keep us open. You know, if anyone wants to ask any questions now, or if you have any questions, just now is a very good time to answer them for you.
Well, thank you, Adam. Just had one comment from Rhonda again, who had just left the program. She was just looking to get the steps, and I think she got them clearly. And I just want to reiterate for everyone that this has been recorded, and the recording will go out to you, so you'll have a chance to review the steps and the questions, the mistakes that you presented at the beginning that we've all been making, and the steps that go along with it, just to really laser focus your marketing to be able to get that alignment. So thank you very much. I'm just checking to see if there's any other questions. And I don't see
Adam, this is Liz Christofferson. I just want to, again, thank you so much for your time today. You've done a remarkable job sharing a lot of really good information for coaches, especially those who are stuck in that struggle cycle of trying to get clients and figure out how do I get from where I'm at to where I want to be. I have had the benefit of having some great mentors when I first started my business and have had great success, and a lot of the things that you mentioned are exactly those things that I was taught early on about doing what I need to do to be able to articulate who I am, what I do, and how I add value in a way that compels people to want to take action and do business with me, which goes beyond just the function of performing as a coach. So thank you so much for reinforcing that today. I'm going to leave you in good hands with Carol. She will take care of wrapping up the call with you. So again, thank you on behalf of Practice Pay Solutions as well as Empower Consulting Group. We appreciate your time.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Liz.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Liz. And I don't see any other questions, Adam. Any last bits that you would like to leave us with?
No, that's great. Well, look, the only thing I would say is this. If you are a coach, it's one of the most valuable things you can do, valuable careers, because it's very, very rewarding, because we do make a big difference in people's lives. There is a massive opportunity for coaches today, and largely because there is so much more struggle today.
Yes.
Like we're obviously in a period where you know, there's a lot more stress, and there's people who are finding a lot of challenges at the moment, and I'm certainly not saying prey on these people, but I'm saying as a coach, you provide a solution. So
Yes.
If you can, you know, we can make a difference to this world and also make an income for ourselves, and I can't think of any better way to spend a life than doing that. So that's what I'd like to do.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for everyone who attended. And I'm sure that we will hear more from you, Adam. Thank you. Okay.
Fantastic. Thanks, Carol.
Thanks. Bye-bye.